Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi everyone, I'm Emily.
And I'm Hannah.
And we're the hosts of the I Don't Think So podcast. Each episode we discuss a different story, theory, or mystery and decide if we think it's believable or if we really don't think so.
Here at the I Don't Think So podcast, we are affiliated with Flurry Sports, and we present our theories on your favorite place to listen to podcasts every Wednesday. If you like what you hear, follow us on our socials at I Don't Think So _EH, or check us out on YouTube at IDTS Conspiracies.
Heck yeah, welcome to March.
Woo, woo.
March
Madness.
You know, I have a feeling March is going to fly for me,
I hope so.
which is fine, which means it's April, which means spring.
Which means then April will fly, and then it's May, and then it's summertime.
And then it's summer, and then all of a sudden I'll wake up again and it'll be October, and I'll be like, why?
What happened to my life?
Why am I here?
Mhm.
I had so many plans.
No kidding.
But, I mean, it's nice for that to be, like, it's nice to be busy. But some days it's like, how come listen, Christmas also feels like it was 2 weeks, somehow 2 weeks ago and 2 years ago.
Oh, I feel like it feels like it's been a long time ago. Christmas was in a past life for me.
Christmas was 85 years ago.
February was
So
years.
I said that to someone and someone's like, God, no, February flew. And I was like, it was February for 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm. It was
1,000
so
years.
long. I don't know what it was, but February was not
Terrible.
well for me.
I just think February is always my month that I'm like,
February sucks.
I'm over winter, but I know I have so much cold and winter left. It's so dark. And everyone's like,
Mhm.
oh, it's getting longer. I'm like, it doesn't feel like it.
No, it's daylight savings time this weekend.
I know. It means I lose an hour of sleep.
Like you're gonna wake up earlier on
Sunday?
Yeah.
No. But
doesn't
I might.
lose hours.
I could have. And I've just been like, you know, we had such a fun party this last weekend. I have
Mhm.
been exhausted
since
since you know, we went to a bachelorette party, had a grand old time, and I'm too old, I think, now to
Sunday, I was like dead to the world. Going into Monday, and I'm like, oh my God, I have to make it through an entire week of work. Outlook, we might get snow. All's well with the world. Give me the snow day and melt the next day. That's all I want.
yeah, let it be like 65 the next day,
Mm-hmm.
and so everything melts.
Yeah, it looks like we're spending our podcast talking about weather. It looks like we're supposed to get warm weather afterwards. So give me the day off, and then
Please.
the sad thing is it's to the point where we have to make them up. But
Dang it.
that's a later me problem.
Yeah, current me does not care. Well, and I have another bachelorette party this coming weekend, and I'm like, I am not.
You're not going to survive.
26 years old. I'm not built for that. I'm
Mm-mm.
just not.
no.
17-year-old me would be very upset. Or like
That we're not fun anymore.
21-year-old me would be like, you're fine.
Yeah.
You big baby.
No, I'm not fine.
I'm not fine. I'm tired. I want to go to bed. I literally said to Claire today,
The bride.
the bride, I said, I don't know about you, but I need to go to bed at 6 p.m. and not wake up until noon the
I'm sure
next
she's
day.
just as tired.
She's like, I'm exhausted. I'm like, I bet you are. I don't even remember watching Gilmore Girls.
No. At 7:30 p.m.
At 7:30 p.m. And that tells you how our day was going. I remember none of that.
No kidding.
But yeah. Well, with a new month, we can finally transition off of my gripes and groans. I love the video you sent me on TikTok that was like, I wish my coping strategy wasn't bitching, but it is.
I said that to my coworkers too, and they're just like, that is your coping strategy. I'm like, I know.
I wish it wasn't. I do.
It 100%. I've never found a TikTok that fits me more. Genuinely. As a person.
Oh.
Hit me to the core.
That's why we have a podcast.
Yeah, no
you
kidding.
know, what are you going to do? But
I'm not a yapper. I'm a bitcher.
I'm a bitcher. I'm a complainer. I'm a bellyacher. Okay? That is, put that on a t-shirt. Okay?
That would be a good golf t-shirt.
A golf t-shirt? I'm a bitcher.
What was the other ones?
Complainer, bellyacher.
I love it.
That is me, and that is who I will be until the day I die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no kidding.
But
anyway, new theme
for March. And I was like, it was such a, why plan early? And again, I was tired, so I was like, it's a dreary day. I don't know. What do I want to do? And so I was like, I kind of want to fit the vibe of
bitching.
No.
Okay, gotcha.
Fit the vibe of like gloomy, doomy weather. And I decided this month we are going to talk again about haunted places.
Oh, love a haunted place.
I love a haunted place.
I say that as I would never. I like talking about a haunted place.
I like hearing about them.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to partake.
I don't need to participate.
No.
Or have it be my place.
Never.
But it could be somewhere else where I'm not going to ever have to go.
Yeah, I agree.
So today I want to talk about the Haunted Lemp Mansion in St. Louis.
Ooh.
Firstly, such a pretty house. There's a picture of it.
That is very nice.
It's a very like French style, white with black trim, beautiful home with lots of windows.
Nice windows. Those windows you're never replacing.
Those windows you are keeping till the day you die unless you have millions of dollars.
Yeah. I don't know.
Good luck. But this is a mansion that sits in St. Louis, Missouri. It's said to be one of the 10 most haunted places in America.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Over the years, the mansion was transformed from the home of millionaires to office spaces. Then it went to decaying into ruin. And it was a boarding house at that time while it was like decaying.
Ugh.
I know.
Of course they didn't take care of it. It's not like we get any money for any public services ever. Sorry. Bitcher.
I really need that t-shirt. And then now it's been restored to its current state as a fine dinner theater, restaurant, and bed and breakfast.
Went from a decaying boarding house, serving the community to quote unquote serving as a dinner theater.
Well, speaking of serving, the Lemp family began.
Did they have nice outfits?
No, I wish. I mean, they were millionaires, so probably.
They were serving.
The Lemp family began with Johann Adam Lemp, who would arrive in St. Louis from Eschwege, Germany.
Have you met a Johann ever in your life?
No. I met a Jurgen.
I think that's a name we could bring back. Anyone on the hunt for baby names? Johann
and Jurgen.
Jurgen and Yuri. We're talking about Yuri. Gagarin or whatever the first astronaut in space is.
Yeah.
From Russia?
He's from Germany and they're close. So
good enough.
A lot of J names pronounced funny. Anyways, he arrived in St. Louis from Germany in 1838. He built a small grocery store at what is now the intersection of Delmar and 6th Street.
Mm-hmm.
He sold everyday household items, groceries, and homemade beer.
Johann.
Yeah, it's a boy. The light golden lager was a welcome change from the darker beers that were sold at the time. The recipe handed down to him by his father was so popular that just 2 years later, he gave up the grocery store and built a small brewery in 1840 at a point close to where the Gateway Arch stands today.
Oh, nice.
So
that's fun.
Yeah.
He's like starting the microbrewery trend in St. Louis.
He really did. Lemp sold his first beer in a pub attached to the brewery, introducing St. Louis to its first ever lager.
Wow.
So before long, Lemp found that the brewery was too small to handle the production and storage and found a limestone cave just south of the city limits.
Cave?
Not
Not
they
where
didn't have
I...
refrigeration. What was he supposed to do?
I mean, ice.
No, cave. The cave located at the present-day corner of Cherokee and Demenil.
The cave still exists in town?
What are they gonna do? Fill it in?
I just usually don't see towns on like
Town
with,
caves.
caves in them.
Cave towns.
You know?
I don't know. I'm sure they've closed it down.
You just think it'd be a liability.
I'm sure it's locked up.
Sure.
I don't know though.
Anyway, continue.
Anyways, corner of Cherokee and Demenil Place could be kept cool by chopping ice from the nearby Mississippi River
Mm-hmm.
and depositing it inside, providing perfect conditions for the loggers, like that process of the logger to run its course. Lemp's Western Brewing Company continued to prosper, and by the late 1850s was one of the largest in the city.
Wow.
In 1858, the beer captured its first place at the annual St. Louis Fair. A millionaire by the time of his death, Adam Lemp died on August 25th, 1862, and his son William began a significant expansion of the brewery. He purchased a 5-block area around the storage house on Cherokee above the caves.
Okay.
In 1864, a new plant was completed at Cherokee Street and Chardolet Avenue. The brewery eventually covered 5 city blocks by continually expanding to meet for the product's demand.
Wow.
So, lots of expansion. By the 1870s, the Lemp family symbolized wealth and power as the Lemp Brewery controlled the St. Louis beer market, a position it maintained until Prohibition. So, rich.
Rich.
In 1868, Jacob Feckert, William Lemp's father-in-law, built a house a short distance from the Lemp Brewery. In 1876, William Lemp purchased it for his family, utilizing it as a residence and an auxiliary office for him.
Nice.
This is the Lemp home. So while the home was impressive, Lemp immediately began renovating and expanding the 33-room house into a Victorian showplace.
No kidding.
I hate you. 33 rooms? What do you need 33 rooms for?
You don't.
I hate you. I don't hate you. Sorry, you're dead and gone. I probably shouldn't speak ill of you.
That's a lot.
33?
But if they're like old-timey rooms, they're probably like
Really small.
5 foot by 8 foot room.
It's just 33 coffins just standing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think about that commercial that's like, do you have ants in your house? And it's like, expired.
Yes.
Not a house, hope you can keep it clean. That's all I think of every day
Yes.
when I hear stuff like that.
And that's probably how it was with all their family living together.
No shit.
There you go.
From the mansion, a tunnel was built from the basement through the caves to the brewery.
I was going to say in the caves.
To the caves!
Ugh.
When mechanical refrigeration became available, parts of the cave were converted for other purposes, including a natural auditorium and theater.
Under the house in the caves.
Yeah, a theater.
Theater.
This underground oasis would later spawn a large concrete swimming pool with hot water pipes.
In the caves?
Yeah.
What? Caves freak me out.
But guess what? This pool had hot water piped in from the brewery boiling house and bowling.
Wow.
And then it got a bowling alley.
That's bougie.
At one time, the theater was accessible through a spiral staircase from Cherokee Street. No longer. By the middle 1890s, the Lemp Brewery gained a national presence after introducing the popular Falstaff beer, which is another a different company still brews today. The Lemp Western Brewery was the first brewer to establish coast-to-coast distribution of its beer. At the same time he was building his own business empire, William Sr. also helped Pabst, Anheuser, and Busch get started. Which are names you might recognize.
I never realized that, like, I've never heard of this brewery or this
Same.
type of beer or anything like that. So it's crazy that they were so prominent. I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Amid the success, the Lemp family experienced the first of many tragedies, while Frederick Lemp, William Sr.'s favorite son,
known to be the
favorite and heir to the business,
Woof.
died in 1901 at the age of 28.
Dang.
Frederick, who had never been in excellent health, died of heart failure.
At 28.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
The devastated William was never the same, beginning a slow withdrawal. He was rarely seen publicly ever after his son's death.
Oh, that's sad.
On January 1st, 1904, William's closest friend, Frederick Pabst,
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
mm-hmm, also died, leaving William indifferent to the details of running the brewery.
Wow.
Though he arrived at the office daily, he was nervous and unsettled. His physical and mental health began to decline. And on February 13th, 1904, he would end up shooting himself in the head with a .38 caliber Smith & Wesson.
That's too bad.
Mm-hmm. In November of 1904, William Lemp Jr. took over as the new president of the William J. Lemp Brewing Company. Inheriting the family business and vast fortune, he and his wife Lillian...
So, sorry.
You're okay.
The son that got named after him wasn't his
Not the favorite.
And it wasn't the heir to the throne originally?
No.
Wow.
Frederick must have really been special, man. Also, it sounds like Frederick was, like, never in good health.
So he was, like,
he might have been, like, babied.
They're
like, if you continue to live, son,
then you have something to look
you have
forward
something to live for.
Hmm.
And William Jr. is probably like, damn.
Yeah, that kind of blows, but whatever. Worked out for him in the end. Okay, continue.
Inheriting the family business and vast fortune, he and his wife Lillian began to spend the inheritance.
Oh, he shouldn't have got it.
Yeah. They filled the house with servants.
This is why you're not the favorite.
And the pair spent a ton of money on carriages, clothing, and art.
Basic.
I know. Lillian was said to be a beautiful woman who came from a wealthy family herself.
Huh.
She and William Lemp Jr. married in 1899, and William Lemp Jr. III, was born on September 26, 1900. Before long, Lillian became known as the Lavender Lady because of her fondness of the color lavender.
I was like, because she's in a lavender marriage or what? Never mind, sorry.
In addition to her lavender attire and accessories, she went so far as to have her carriage horse harness dyed lavender.
Wow.
I know, she's bougie. Initially, Will enjoyed showing off his trophy wife, but as Will was a player, he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth and was used to doing and acting as however he
started cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
When William began to tire of his beautiful wife, he demanded she spend her time shopping, allotting her $1,000 a day.
You know what, Lillian?
Fine.
Suck it up.
He gave her an ultimatum that she would get no more if she didn't spend it. So she literally was on like a fixed, you have to spend $1,000 a day, otherwise you get no more money.
I just don't understand. Like, I'm going to give you $5, even if it was like $5, I'm going to give you $5 a day, and if you don't spend your $5, I'm not giving you any more money. What?
Oh no! What will I do? But also, at like, what point are you like, I literally have nothing to buy?
That's what I mean. So, like, was he just afraid that she was going to save it and then leave him or something?
Maybe.
I don't know. Whatever.
In the meantime, Will was busy running the brewery during the day and pursuing all manner of decadent activities during the night.
Being a freaking sleazeball.
Being a sleaze. Holding lavish parties in the caves below the mansion, he would bring in numerous prostitutes for the entertainment of his friends. Enjoying the swimming pool, the bowling alley, and the free-flowing beer, his friends who attended these lavish events were known to enjoy a high time in the earth below. Will's shenanigans would catch up with him when he would sire a son with a different woman other than his wife.
Sleaze!
Today, there's no official documentation that this boy existed. However, the rumors that this boy was hidden in the mansion attic for his entire life have been prevalent over the years.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Just have him get raised by a single mother.
No! Then everyone will know that Will sucks.
Ugh.
This is why, Junior, you aren't the favorite.
You know what? I'm back to this other guy.
I'm back on Frederick.
Yeah, I was say Franklin.
According to St. Louis historian Joe Gibbons, when he interviewed a former nanny and a chauffeur who worked at the mansion long ago, they verified that the boy existed and he was housed in the attic quarters that also housed all the servant rooms.
No.
So he came from Will's philandering with either one of the many prostitutes or a mansion servant. The boy was born with Down syndrome.
Oh. I was going to say he probably was black or something, and that's why he didn't want people to know.
Yeah.
But no, he was disabled. The other curse of a pristine white society.
My God, right? So this would be considered at the time a total embarrassment to the family, and the boy was hidden away from the world to kind of cloak the Lemps' quote-unquote shame.
Sad.
Known today as, quote, monkey-faced boy, end quote.
Oh my God.
I'm so upset about that. This unfortunate soul continues to show his presence at the Lemp Mansion. Finally, Will Jr. tired of his trophy wife.
Damn.
He files for divorce in 1908. Why she didn't take this stepson with all of his goings on could be nothing more than a sign of the times. The court proceedings surrounding the divorce became a major St. Louis scandal, with all 4 St. Louis newspapers devoting extensive front page coverage to the messy affair.
Oh, God.
The trial opened in February of 1909 to crowds that flocked to the courthouse each day to witness the drama of the tales of violence, drunkenness, atheism, and cruelty.
No.
Virtually ignoring William's crappy behaviors, Lillian almost lost custody of their son, the third, Willard III, because of a photograph presented at the trial that showed her smoking a cigarette.
Oh my God. Not about him cheating and, doing all this other crappy stuff, but her smoking's going to be the freaking pull away.
Absolutely. Ultimately, she retained custody of their son, but soon retired from the public eye. The only time she was ever seen wearing anything other than lavender was on the final day of her divorce proceedings, which she appeared in entirely black before the judge.
Queen.
Serve.
You're serving.
With the divorce, Will's troubles had only just begun. In 1906, 9 large breweries in the St. Louis area combined to form the Independent Breweries Company, creating fierce competition that the Lemp Brewery had never faced. In that same year, Will's mom would die of cancer on April 16th. Though the brewery...
I didn't realize I knew what, cancer... I didn't know when they not invented cancer, discovered cancer. You know what I mean?
I think... looking at, I don't know if that's what it was called in her death documents, but after people have looked at it now.
Sure, they can say it's cancer now. Got it. That makes sense.
Though the brewery's fortunes were continually declining, the Lemp Mansion was entirely remodeled in 1911 and partially converted into offices for the brewery. At this same time, William allowed the company's equipment to deteriorate without keeping any worries about, the industry innovations that were happening. By World War I, the brewery was barely limping along. William soon built a country home on the Merrimack River, to which he increasingly retreated. In 1915, he married a second time to Ellie Limburg, the widowed daughter of the late St. Louis brewer Casper Kohler. Then Prohibition would come along in 1919. The individual family members were already wealthy, so there was little incentive to keep the brewery afloat.
Sure.
For a time, Will hoped that Congress would repeal Prohibition, but he finally gave up and closed the Lemp plant down without any notice. When they came to work one day, the workers learned about the closing and found the doors basically shut and the gates were locked.
Ugh, shitty.
He sucks!
He really does suck. Not Franklin. Frederick would have done a lot better than you.
Frederick would have been great. On March 20th, 1920, Elsa Lemp Wright, William's sister, the wealthiest heiress in St. Louis, would shoot herself just like her father did years before.
Jesus.
Elsa was said to have been despondent over her rocky marriage. Liquidating the plant's assets and auctioning the buildings, William Jr. sold the famous Lemp Falstaff logo to a brewer, Joseph... Oh, no. My thing reloaded. No. Lavender Lady. Oh, here we are. Nope. Yes. The Stalfast logo to the brewer Joseph Gresidik for $25,000 in 1922.
It's a lot of money for back then.
The brewery buildings were sold to the International Shoe Company for $588,000.
Jesus.
A fraction of its estimated worth of $7 million in the years before the Prohibition.
Wow.
So, again, this is early 1900s. This plant was huge.
Yeah, that is crazy.
At the end of Lemp's brewery dynasty, William Jr. slipped into a depression, acting much like his father. He became increasingly nervous and erratic, shunning public life and often complaining of ill health. On December 29th, 1922, William would shoot himself in the heart with a .38 caliber revolver in this very same building where his father had died 18 years before.
Yikes.
William II took his life on the main level of the mansion, just inside the entrance to the left. At the time of his death, the room served as his office. He was interred in the family mausoleum at the Belafonte Cemetery in the crypt just above his sister Elsa.
Well,
William's brothers, Charles and Edwin, had long ago left the family business, so with William Jr. gone, it seemed that the Lemp Empire had finally ended. Edwin had entered into a life of seclusion at his estate in Kirkwood, Missouri in 1911. Charles had never been involved with the brewery and had chosen to work in the banking and real estate fields instead. In 1943, yet another tragedy occurred when William Lemp III died of a heart attack at the age of 42.
They do not have great genes.
No. Their brother Charles eventually remodeled the mansion back into a residence and lived in the house along with 2 servants and the illegitimate child of his brother, William II.
At least he got kind of taken care of.
Charles, too, became an odd figure as he grew older. He developed a morbid fear of germs. His obsessive-compulsive behavior included always wearing gloves to avoid bacteria and constantly washing his hands. During this time, William's illegitimate child, now in his 30s, would also die at the mansion. He was buried in the Lemp cemetery plot with only a small flat marker with the words Lemp on it. Not in the mausoleum, because I hate you. Shortly after this boy died, Charles became the 4th member of the Lemp family to also commit suicide.
Oh my god. I mean, yeah. Okay, sorry, continue. I was going to say something. But...
First, he shot his Doberman Pinscher in the
Not the freaking dogs, too.
In the basement.
Oh my god.
And then he would climb his stairs to his room on the 2nd floor, and then he would shoot himself. Charles was discovered on May 10th, 1949 by one of his staff, still holding the .38 caliber Army Colt revolver in his right hand. Though the dog was shot in the basement, he was found halfway up the stairs.
Oh.
So the poor thing also suffered. Of the Lemps, only Edwin Lemp, who had long avoided the life that had turned so tragic for the rest of his family, remained. He was known as a quiet and reclusive man who had walked away from the Lemp Brewery in 1913 to live peacefully in a secluded estate in Kirkwood, Missouri. Edwin would pass away quietly from natural causes at the age of 90 in 1970.
Good thing he stayed away from everybody else.
No kidding. According to Edwin's last wishes, his butler burned all of the paintings that the Lemps had collected throughout his life and priceless Lemp family documents and artifacts. Those pieces of history just gone forever.
Crazy.
The Lemp family's line would die with Edwin, and the family's resting place can now be found at the beautiful Belafonte Cemetery. After the death of Charles, the mansion was sold and turned into a boarding house. The building would begin to deteriorate along with the nearby neighborhood, and the haunted tales would begin there.
I bet.
Residents complained of ghostly knocks, phantom footsteps being heard throughout the house. As these stories spread, tenants were hard to find for the boarding house, and it continued to decline to a near flop house status. However, in 1975, the old mansion was saved when Dick Pointer...
I don't know. Dick Pointer.
Sorry.
That's a good, fake name, whatever.
Someone ever asked me, what's your name? Dick Pointer. Sorry.
Oh, continue. Sorry.
But they bought it. Him and his family bought it.
That's someone who should go by Richard.
That's someone who should go by Mr. Pointer, okay? They would renovate the building immediately, turning it into a restaurant and inn. Workers within the house often told stories of seeing apparitions, strange sounds, vanishing tools, and always feeling like you're being watched. Frightened by the hauntings, many would leave the job site never to return.
They weren't being watched by Dick Pointer.
Maybe.
Oh, sorry, continue.
Since the restaurant opened, staff members have reported several strange experiences. Again, apparitions appear and then quickly vanish. Voices and sounds come from nowhere, and glasses often lift off the bar and fly through the air themselves.
Yikes.
On other occasions, doors are said to lock and unlock by themselves, lights will turn on and off on their own, and the piano bar often will play when no one's near it.
Crazy.
Said to be haunted by several members of the Lemp family, there are 3 areas of the old mansion that have the most activity. The stairway, the attic, and what the staff refers to as, quote, the gates of hell, which is the basement.
Fair. I hate basements.
And it's like an area of the basement, I should say.
Sure.
The area of the basement used to be the entrance to the caves running below the mansion and the brewery.
Yikes.
The attic is said to be haunted by William Jr.'s illegitimate son, which really sadly, he is only referred to now as Monkey Face Boy.
Oh.
So I will not be referring to him as that. That's mean. He had a hard life without any love and tender care.
No kidding.
Poor thing. This poor soul, born with Down syndrome, spent his entire life locked in the attic of the Lemp Mansion. Strange occurrences are often witnessed on the third level of the mansion. The face of the boy has regularly been seen from the street.
Oh.
Like peeking from the small windows of the mansion.
Sure.
Ghost investigators have often left toys in the middle of the room, drawing a circle around them to see what objects have been moved. And when they return the next day, the toys are always pretty much found in a different location. Many women have reported a man peeking over the stall in the downstairs women's bathroom.
Creep.
Which was once William Jr.'s
Of course it was.
personal domain and held the first freestanding shower in St. Louis.
Fancy.
On one such occasion, a woman emerged from the bathroom, returned to the bar, and told the two men she was there with, "I hope you got an eyeful." However, the two men quickly denied ever leaving the bar, which the bartender would then verify, and this ghost is said to be that of the womanizer, William Jr. Good to know you're creeping death, too.
Ugh. Sucks.
In William Lemp's senior's room, guests have often reported hearing someone running up the stairs and kicking at the door.
Oh my gosh.
When it's said when William killed himself, William Jr. was known to have run up the stairs to his father's room and finding it locked, tried to kick in the door to get to his dad. Several years ago, a part-time tour guide reported hearing the sounds of horses outside the room where William Lemp Sr. had kept his office. However, nothing was there when the tour guide looked through the window. This area north of the mansion is now used as a parking lot, but it was once utilized for tethering horses.
Sure.
The mansion has been featured in several magazine articles and newspapers and now attracts ghost hunters from around the country. Today, it features a bed and breakfast with rooms restored kind of period style.
Sure.
A restaurant featuring fine dining and a mystery dinner theater. You can also tour the mansion if you would like. It's a very short distance from the Mississippi River, and so you just take Interstate 55 and you're pretty much there. But lots of people, I mean, they have several stories that you can read about who people on the tours were like, I was there, I heard knocking, or like, everything was creaky, I didn't feel good. And so if you want to, you can absolutely read those stories, but they're creepy. It's a creepy house.
Just a lot of death surrounding.
A lot of really tragic death too.
Yeah.
People say to see orbs. Some lady saw like a balloon like come out of nowhere and just like fly past her, and then it's just like it was like an oxygen filled balloon. So it just like very It style.
Hate that.
Like do, and then like fell to the floor.
Not a fan.
And I was like, I'm telling you, yeah.
Not I.
I could not. And like, so this website, I can always put a link in on our X feed if you want to ever go in and read it.
Cool.
Just with stories, but I won't read any. But do you think the Lemp Mansion is haunted?
For sure. And also I would never stay there. Ever.
Couldn't force me.
No. I might tour it. I would never stay there.
I think the thing that makes me the most sad is that this family was haunted by so much suicide, which is sad.
Yeah.
And that proves to you that money can't buy happiness. But
no kidding.
I think what makes me the most sad is that poor boy.
Yeah, that makes me really sad.
That is perpetually trapped there. And I hope at some point someone can find a way for him to be at rest and at peace, because that makes me so sad.
Yeah, I agree. It's too bad.
And I'm like, where was the mother? Not to like blame her. I get it. You're a single woman in the early 1900s.
Right. And again, it could, like you said, it could have been a servant's kid. So maybe his mother was there.
Right. So maybe he got some love and tender care. But I think that one hurts me and bothers me the most out of like.
I agree. Yeah, that sucks.
everything. But yeah, I was like, I read about him or this mansion a little bit, and I was like, yeah,
I've
haunted.
never heard of it either.
No,
That's crazy.
never.
Have to check it out if we're ever in St. Louis.
Maybe I'll do a tour, but I'm telling you right here, right now, I'm gonna be spooked the whole time. I'm gonna have a spray gun of holy water. and if I have to pee, you can bet your sweet bottom I am not peeing in the stall with William Jr.
No, God, what a creep, even in death.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.